Welcome to the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show, a real estate investment program. Listen and learn how to use real estate to build wealth and passive income streams for you and your family. We bring you experts every day to discuss and answer your questions on everything from single-family homes all the way up to 600-plus unit apartment complexes. And now, the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show.
Welcome to the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show, where, as always, we're working on your financial freedom. I'm Mike Harrison. It's my privilege to be joining you today, and I want to thank you for tuning in. If you missed this show, you can always find us on the podcast app. I have it on my smartphone, the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show. I subscribe to it. If I'm driving or taking a trip or going for a jog outside, then I'll put it on the podcast and catch the show there. It's a great way to catch up. You can also find us on YouTube. If you go to YouTube, type in Del Walmsley, or Thinking Just Getaway, typing in Lifestyles Unlimited. You'll find this show as well as several other shows there. You can find us on the website, lifestylesunlimited.com. I have a couple of guests on today's show, Lifestyles Unlimited members since 2017, husband and wife team. They have owned and own single-family properties and multi-family apartment communities. They're successful lead investors out of San Antonio, Texas. And yes, you listening to me right now, you have the ability to own and manage single-family properties. You have the ability to purchase, own, and manage apartment communities. Believe it or not, we all start somewhere. It's not difficult. It's what we teach here at Lifestyles Unlimited. We're an educational and mentoring group. We have members in all 50 states, but we teach people how to essentially buy their life back, one piece of real estate at a time, one piece of cash flowing real estate, one successful business, one stream of income at a time. So with that, I want to welcome to our show James and Kimberly. James and Kimberly, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Appreciate the invite.
Absolutely. Well, Kimberly, if you would, share a little bit of background as we go forward regarding you and James.
I have a background in human resources. I was the HR director for about 25 years. And while working as the HR director, James and I listened to a show on television about buying real estate. And so we started to buy some single-family homes. For about 10 years, we bought and sold single-family homes without the training that Lifestyles gives you. So we were a little bit lost, didn't do as well as we should have done. But, we say real estate's forgiving. And so we made some money on it, but not the kind of money that we could have made if we would have had the mentorship from Lifestyle.
So you see this show on TV. Whose idea was it to move forward and say, let's do this? Did both of you come to it together, or how'd y'all end up there?
It was actually my idea. I went to James and said, hey, listen, there's this guy on television saying you can buy real estate with very little money down, and I think we can do it. And so we went to my hometown, which is Victoria, Texas, and we started buying and purchasing homes down there. And word of mouth, a lot of times, people we knew in town would say, well, I know my uncle has a place or my brother has a place. And so we kind of bought and sold just pretty much through word of mouth.
So, James, I know how it is. Happy wife, happy life. At any point when she says, hey, yeah, let's start doing this, were you apprehensive, or what were your thoughts?
No, I wasn't apprehensive at all. I come from a family construction worker, so I was doing construction work at that time and felt very comfortable with it. Like I say, we didn't have a lot of money starting out doing it. And like I said, I think the first couple of places we bought were probably on credit card, and we turned those around. And then we kind of owner financed a couple of properties and sold properties, and we just continued to grow.
You're brave to put the down payment with a credit card or to purchase a house with a credit card, but I love it. I fully believe in it. But that's totally counterintuitive to, I guess, what the conventional world would teach us regarding credit. So 10 years, 10 houses, is that correct, Kimberly?
Yes, that's correct.
At what point did you find Lifestyles Unlimited?
I had a girlfriend who heard it on the radio and was talking to us. She said, hey, you guys are, into real estate. Why don't you take a look at this particular program? At the time, I was working full-time. James was working full-time. We were spending all of our weekends, dealing with the rental houses. And we were like, there has to be a better way of doing this. And so she told us about it, and she told me about it. I waited probably a year, didn't respond back to her, didn't pay any mind to her. She called me one day, and I was in the car with James, and I had her on speakerphone, and he heard it. And he says, absolutely, we need to go. We need to go. And I'm looking at him like, no, you need to go because I'm done with real estate.
You had enough, but in the back of your mind, I guess there's that little voice telling you there's a better way to do it. Is that what it was?
No, I still didn't want to go. I just didn't believe it. I thought, here we are. We're going to get back into this again. Now we're going to have 20 houses, 20 tenants, and twice the work, but that's not the case.
Yeah, so you're working at the same time, and essentially it sounds like you created additional jobs for each of you.
That's exactly what we did. We created jobs.
Yeah, like I say, we did a lot of things wrong at the beginning. It was so far I would be doing a lot of the work. Well, me and my brother at the time were doing a lot of work in the houses, and people would just walk up and like, hey, man, I really like how y'all changed this. Can I rent the place? And, of course, being hungry to hurry up and start making money, you rent the place out. And, by the way, I can finish doing the construction work, and I know how to do this, know how to do that. We wasn't doing background checks, doing all that, and then 3 months later, you're trying to get the people out.
Yeah.
And you don't have a down payment. It was just terrible.
It was. And then we decided to go to that 2-day training. And the first day of the training, he talked about single-family homes and how to go about the process. He just nailed it. I mean, he pretty much told us everything we were doing wrong. We learned so much in just a 2-day class about how to change that business. And so we started changing that business and said, you know what, we're going to go straight into multifamily. And so we started liquidating all those single-family homes and went into multifamily.
I can't imagine what y'all were going through because I owned one house prior to Lifestyles Unlimited, and it was a beating until I learned to do it right. Owning 10, that's a lot. I want to come back on the other side, and I want to continue that transition after you join Lifestyles Unlimited. My name is Mike Harrison. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show. Now, let's get back to your map to financial freedom.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Mike Harrison. If you have any questions about Lifestyles Unlimited, about real estate investing, about how to get started, please send me an email, and I do respond personally to every email I get. I'm here to help you out. My email address is askmike@luinc.com. askmike@luinc.com. And if you're just now tuning in, if you missed the earlier part of the show, you can always pick us back up at the website. That's lifestylesunlimited.com. Click on the radio button. You'll find this show as well as several other shows from the other hosts there. My favorite way to find this show is the podcast app. I have a podcast app on my phone. I subscribe to the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show. It automatically uploads the latest episodes if I'm out working in the yard, if I'm going for a jog, or if I'm going for a drive. Put it on the podcast, boom, catch the show there. It's easy to stay in tuned and practice and understand real estate just by listening to this show over and over. That's how I got started. I have on my show today two very special guests. They're lead investors from San Antonio, Texas. They've been members of Lifestyles Unlimited since 2017, just over 5 years. Prior to that, we were talking to James and Kimberly. They had purchased 10 houses in 10 years, and they were doing everything. What they didn't know until they came to Lifestyles Unlimited, they were doing everything wrong. So, James, what a beating. You're doing all the construction. You're not doing any of the background. Kimberly, you're managing these properties. You're trying to collect them and put people in them. Were you shocked when you came to our 2-day seminar? And I think the first thing that shocked me, because I did all the work myself on my first home, was they tell us that we don't pick up a paintbrush. We don't do the landscaping. We don't do the painting or the cleaning or any of that. And that's what y'all were doing. how'd you take that when you first heard it, James?
Man, I didn't think that would really work. Kind of anal about your work and thinking that nobody's going to do the work better than you.
Yeah.
You're kind of skeptical of it. But once you get the vendors using the Lifestyles model, going through their vendor program, you actually have really good vendors that's out there that care about the quality of work that they're putting out. I was pleased with it, and we started to grow.
It's a great discovery when you realize that there are vendors that specialize only in investors. That makes us feel better in that we're not just finding some contractor out there that might not treat us in such a regard, at knowing that, hey, not only are you going to get this job, I've got 9 other houses. My friend owns 8 houses. We're a part of a group, and everybody between us, we own thousands of houses. So that took a load off, but it was really counterintuitive. Kimberly, give me something else that y'all took away from our financial freedom seminar. I'm sure there was several moments where you're looking over at James and James is looking at you as they're hitting these high points, because y'all being investors already and owners of property is a little different. Most people come to us and they've never owned a property. So what are some other takeaways that you had from the Freedom Seminar?
I think one of the biggest takeaways is he talked about how you go about getting residents and getting tenants. That whole process, we didn't have a process, and that was the biggest takeaway. Because if you get the right person in there, your experience is totally different. So that was the biggest takeaway for us was, you know what, there are companies out there who will run a background check, who will tell you if they've been to court before. They'll tell you if they've been evicted before. There are companies out there that will do that for you. And then they talked a lot about numbers and profit and loss and things like that. I didn't have a balance sheet or a profit and loss statement for these properties. We were just collecting rents, paying the mortgages. Didn't have any type of system down. And when he laid it out, it was David Fisher, and he was like, no, this is the way it should be done. How do you know what to charge for rent? That was another takeaway. I didn't know what to charge. We just kind of looked, about this. No, you take into so much consideration for maintenance and then your property taxes and all these other things. At the end of the year, every year, we would scramble trying to pay all those property taxes. We didn't have a system in place for setting up a rent structure. But you don't have to worry about that with Lifestyle. They teach you all of that. And when I tell you they teach it to you. They really, really do.
Those are some great points, because I think I say this facetiously, but my big idea was I was going to keep working. My wife wasn't working. She was a stay-at-home. She had left to take care of our kids. And I was like, well, baby, you can manage the property and handle all that, and I'll keep working, and this will be the plan. I tell you, it got so bad, I think she almost left me. I'm telling you. And we only had one property. So y'all are very strong to have gone so far as to get the 10 properties, then come to Lifestyles Unlimited, realize everything that you had done was wrong. There is a more efficient way. Was it now that you're apartment owners, was it at that Financial Freedom Seminar when you said, let's go apartments, or how did it come about to where you went from houses to apartments?
Well, we came in and went straight into apartments. Everything that we talked about with David Fisher that day, it aligned more with our views, kind of. So we said, if we liquidate most of the property, or liquidate the properties that we have, and we can come up with this amount of money, we can buy this size apartment. Instead of running all over town working on stuff, we can go to one central spot and work on it, and even maybe get a maintenance guy. And we ran across a nice little property, a multifamily, which was a 28 unit, and everything aligned perfectly. A nice little property, brought in a lot of money, and we just grew from there.
One of the things that made us decide to go to multifamily, when David Fisher, I don't know if he still does this, but at lunchtime, they give you the opportunity to kind of talk to one of the millionaires that are there, and there were other millionaires who actually came in. And so they ask us questions. What are you doing now? How long have you owned these single-family homes? what do you think the net worth of? What if you sold them all? How much money do you think you could come up with? We talked to him and said, listen, multifamily is probably best for you guys because you've already done single family. Why don't you move straight into multifamily? And that was the deciding factor. When we left day 2 of the financial freedom, we knew at that moment we were going multifamily. The only question was who's going to quit their job because, we wanted to dedicate to this 100% full time. We wanted to do it full time.
So you ramped up from 10 houses all over town to a 28-unit apartment community, and that gives you that economy of scale. You've got 28 all in the same spot. You can manage everything from one location. You can handle the maintenance. You can take care of the residents. How long was it after you took our seminar that you were able to find and purchase that property?
So we took the seminar that fall in November 2017. I think it was in April before I was able to leave my job and go full time. So it took like 9 months to find the apartment.
9 months, not bad. You acted a lot faster than I did. I'm so proud of y'all, and actually I admire everything that you've done. We're going to come back and talk more about that first apartment community. My name is Mike Harrison. This is the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show.
Warning. Listening to the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show will change your life. We will teach you how to create wealth and passive income so you can be financially free. And now, back to your host.
Welcome back to the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show, where, as always, we're working on your financial freedom. I'm Mike Harrison. If you have any questions about real estate investing, please send me an email. Ask Mike at luinc.com. Ask Mike at luinc.com. I'm here to help you in every way. So speaking of financial freedom, I've got 2 lead investors, husband and wife team out of San Antonio on the show today, James and Kimberly. So James and Kimberly went from 10 houses to a single unit apartment community, 28 doors, all in one spot. What a jump in just 9 months after joining Lifestyles Unlimited. Kimberly, how much did you need to raise to purchase that apartment community?
We raised $1.1 million.
$1.1 million. Excellent. So for you listeners out there, this is how we do it. James and Kimberly are lead investors. They're going to be the business owners, the lead owners of this. And it is a business. It's an apartment community, but it is a business. So they raised $1.1 million. Obviously, they have some money in the deal. That's what we teach here at Lifestyles Unlimited. Our lead investors have skin in the game, so they're owners as well. How many investors were in the deal, Kimberly?
There are 25 investors in the deal.
So 25 people. Everybody kind of looks at it and says, yes, James and Kimberly, I think this is a great business plan. We'd like to go in with you on this property. And together, 25 people came up with $1.1 million. You purchased this property. And then what, James?
We went in, purchased the property. We went through, checked out everything that we wanted to upgrade in the apartment to get more rent on it. After we got all of that figured out, we started remodeling as tenants moved out. We did market surveys of the area, figured out we did granite countertop, which was probably a little overkill. We could make more money, so we put granite in. We got rid of carpet in the place and just did vinyl plank, where now we don't have to pay somebody to come in and steam clean the carpet. We can kind of sweep it out, maybe touch up paint, and put it back out on the market. We did that on the first place. I think when we looked at it, most of the apartments that were renting for like $800, we went in and jumped the rents to like $1,200 right off the bat and got people biting on it right away. So as the old tenants moved out, we just kept using the exact same plan, remodel plan, and kept renting them for more each time. And I think right now, Kimberly can probably give you the numbers better than me on what we're renting for right now.
We're renting them at $13.99. But what's unique about this community is they are all 3-bedroom, 2-bath apartments. So it's family. It's a family
big
community. Yeah, they're big. They're really big apartments. And so when people come, they stay. You take care of them, they stay, and they pretty much, are there all the time. So we didn't have a lot of turnover. I think right now it's been 2.5 years. We still have probably a third of the residents are still there in their apartments, which is pretty good for 2.5 years.
That is. And I want to reinforce what you and James really just described for the listeners out there that may not understand. You can't just buy an apartment community and go, okay, I'm going to raise the rents. You have to provide a reason to raise the rent. So you mentioned you put in vinyl plank flooring instead of the carpet. You put in the granite countertops. You put in the nicer new appliances. And that concept is foreign, I think, to a lot of people because they don't understand that you actually spend money to make money. You make it nicer, and people, yes, will pay more for a better place to live. What a concept, right? And so it's amazing in just that amount of time that you've been able to take the rents from $800 to over $1,300. That's incredible. But there's a reason people are coming. It's not like what's the vacancy there, if you don't mind?
We've been 100% for the past 18 months.
Yes. There it is. And I did not know that answer. I just wanted to ask that out of the blue for the listener out there. They've raised the rents over $500, and they've been 100% occupied for the last 18 months. People will pay good money to live in a great place. That's incredible. Y'all have done a great job. In fact, now here is something that I know. You were both honored by the San Antonio Apartment Association as Independent Rental Owner of the Year. Was that a surprise for y'all in your first ever apartment community purchase?
Yes, we were surprised.
Yes, we
were really surprised.
That's fantastic. How did it feel to be honored by the community, essentially, to say, James and Kimberly, what a great job that you've done with this apartment community?
It's pretty exciting. I mean, that's an honor. That's one thing that lifestyle teaches us is you have to not just we're not slumlords at all. They have the best product, best price. We take care of our residents. And that's what they teach us. And so to be honored like that for doing it right, especially in the first apartment, it was pretty exciting. It really, really was. It was because we didn't just compete with Lifestyles members. It was competing with, all owners across the city of San Antonio. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hundreds of other apartment communities, if not thousands, in the San Antonio Metroplex. San Antonio's a big city, growing every day. You still own that apartment community today?
It's for sale right now. It's actually on the market for sale.
Oh, it is? Okay. Sounds like a nice place, though. I mean, 100% occupied, 28 unit. You went in and fixed everything. And also for the listener, I want the listener to understand, it's more than just providing the nice apartment to live in. It's the exterior you got to take care of. It's the maintenance. And more importantly, it's the management. Kimberly, are you managing that, or do you have a manager on the property, or how's that working?
No, it's self-managed. I manage it myself. Mm-hmm. And
excellent.
So it's 100% easier than 10 single-family homes. It's 100% better, I'm telling you. It's not near the trouble. Yeah, I do it myself. So it's not that bad, though. If you do it right and know how to do it correctly, you get great people in there, and it's not that hard.
I hear that there's a lot of people that go straight to apartments, but like you, there's several people that had owned the houses, and then they come to Lifestyles Unlimited and they go, wait a second, you mean we can buy an apartment? And I always ask them, I go, how is it owning the apartments compared to the houses? And just like you said, to a T, every one of them says the apartment is so much easier. And it doesn't matter if it's a 28 unit, a 60 unit, a 240 unit. Apartments are easier than houses. I think that surprises a lot of people. At any point, did you ever feel like you bit off more than you could handle, or how'd the whole thing come along? It's been a few years now, looking back. What are your thoughts on that?
Wish we'd have started doing this a lot sooner. We're day late. We wish we'd have been doing this 10 years ago. I wish. That's all. I mean, everybody that we talk to that's in lifestyle all say that they wish they would have started doing this a lot sooner.
Well, James, there's a saying out there. It says, "When's the best time to buy real estate?" Well, that was 30 years ago. It's like planting a tree, you know. But when's the next best time? Today.
Right.
Absolutely. Right. Today, right now, tomorrow, the next day. We're still buying. We're not, you know, if you turn on the TV, you're going to get sucked in. You've got both sides. It's nothing but doom and gloom. And if it bleeds, it leads. But the truth is, you get out, the world's a great place. You just have to get involved and make that investment and take those next steps. But, okay, so you didn't stop there. I know you guys went ahead and purchased a second apartment, and I want to hear about that when we come back on the other side. My name is Mike Harrison. We're visiting with lead investors out of San Antonio, James and Kimberly. We'll be right back with the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show. It's time to turn up the volume and fine-tune your passive income plan so you can create the lifestyle you've always wanted.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Mike Harrison. Today we're visiting with Kimberly and James. They're real estate investors out of the San Antonio area. They owned 2 multifamily apartment communities. Prior to that, they owned 10 single-family homes. They've been Lifestyles Unlimited members since 2017. And oh, by the way, they're so good at what they do. They were honored by the San Antonio Apartment Association Independent Rental Owner of the Year Award. That's how well they manage this property. That's how well they turned this business around, turned it into a great place to live where the residents want to be there, 100% occupied. But that wasn't enough for them. So, Kimberly, tell me about this second apartment community that you purchased.
We purchased our second apartment community in June of 2021, this past year. It's 108 doors. It's we purchased it, you want me to tell the price? We purchased it for $8 million. We syndicated the deal. We raised $2.8 million.
$2.8 million. So, James, you wrote a check for $2.8 million?
No, my passive investors wrote a check for $2.8 million.
Yes, they did. How many investors do y'all have in this property?
42.
So you went from 25 to 42. 42 people pulled their money together and said, James and Kimberly, you did a great job on the prior property. We have faith in you. We understand your business plan. Here's my money. Please go be great stewards of my money and invest it well. Wow, 28 units to 108. That's 3 times. That's a little more than 3 times as large. Any apprehension on biting off that large of a property?
Not at all.
Definitely. I had apprehensions. He's never apprehensive. I'm the one that's always saying, no, stop, pump the brakes.
James, you strike me as a man that has very little to be fearful of in life.
It's very hard to be scared to doing this when you have the blueprint. If you just follow the blueprint, what can go wrong? And not to mention all the great lifestyle leads that you build a relationship with. No one's going to let you fail. If we have any questions, we can call any other lead that might have experienced it or know somebody that can help us with the problem that we're having. And no one hoards information or vendors. Everybody, it's an open book for everybody. They give you any information that you need to help you.
We really are a unique community in that we're there to help each other. I mean, you can pick up the phone and call 10 people. I've got friends that I constantly reach out to, hey, what do we do in this situation? And I've been doing it 9 years, and I still have questions at times. So it's a continuous learning experience. It's a continuous support group that we have, and it's truly amazing. So, Kimberly, 108 doors. You're managing the other property at 28. Are you managing this one? This one's much larger.
It's much larger, and the formula that they tell us or they give us is based on the number of doors. And with this size property, we got a full-time manager, a full-time leasing associate, and full-time maintenance. So I have staff on this property.
Excellent. So you're managing the business and the people running the business essentially, but you're not in the business.
Exactly. I don't know the residents by name. I see their names on reports that I'm working on, but I don't know them personally. Whereas the smaller community, I know everyone. I know their kids. I know what cars they drive. But at this community, I don't know the residents personally. So it kind of puts a layer between you and the residents, a day-to-day in and out of the office, I can't pay my rent kind of situation.
Yep. You're absolutely following the plan. As a business owner, work on your business, not in your business. The 28 unit, I'm sure you get satisfaction out of that, and it doesn't make sense to have a manager. So that's running well. So this one's going to sell. And what's next after the sale of the 28 unit? You're gonna need something to do.
We're trying to look for probably a 200 unit now.
I like how you're thinking. Go big or go home, right?
Yeah, that's it. Just keep moving up.
James, let me ask you a question. We can pick our friends, but we can't pick our family. Your family, what do they think about you and Kimberly owning 2 apartment communities? I mean, how's that with them? Do they think it's crazy, or what are the thoughts there?
Yeah, I know at the very beginning when you tell people, it's people like, man, y'all in a cult. This stuff don't work. It never will work. It's a scam. And now people see that you're doing it and it's working, and now they come around, they're asking more questions about, hey, man, exactly what are y'all doing now? Yeah, also y'all got 2 complexes now. It's just a different vibe from people now that they see that you're actually doing what you told them this lifestyle has taught you to do.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think your family at first, and I went through this a little bit, they're just concerned about you. Like, what are you doing with your money? You really want to get into this. But then, I would show them the properties. I would put granite in my houses, it depending on the neighborhood. And I'm happy to show it off. I'd do the before and after pictures. Hey, Mom, look at this house. Look what we did here. This is what it looked like before. This is what it looks like now. And it's really, you get a sense of pride out of the deal at that point, because we do best product, best price. And Kimberly, what are the most satisfying aspects of real estate investing?
I like the fact that you get out of it what you put in it. If you work hard at it and you do it the right way, you're going to see the results. And that's what I love the most. Taking a community or a property that's run down, that had an owner out of California, or wherever, whatever state, and they're far away. They're not there they don't know what's going on, and the residents aren't being taken care of. But when you go in there and you can change that community, and they can see the changes, that's what I enjoy. I love the fact that I can see the fruits of my labor in communities.
It's a good feeling. It's essentially you're giving back. You're taking something that was run down, mismanaged, where the residents aren't taken care of in the right way, and everybody deserves a clean, functional, safe place to live. Everybody deserves that, and when you can provide that, it really is a good feeling. I almost started crying after one of the houses that I did. I bought just the party house, and it was just terrible what was going on there. And there was a young couple living next door. The husband traveled. They had 2 daughters less than 3 years old. And when I turned that house around, he came out and literally he was just thanking me because he was so scared. Is somebody going to walk in my house in the middle of the night, or what am I going to wake up and find in the morning? What's going on here? It was a terrible place, and I took it and I turned it around. And to do that at a 28 unit and now 108 unit, it's amazing what we do. I wish everyone listening could really see the properties that Lifestyles Unlimited and how we run and manage those. Let me ask you this, Kimberly. Have your goals changed since you joined Lifestyles Unlimited, now that you're on your second property looking for your third?
You kind of see things differently. Our goals used to be, get our 401k high enough so we can retire just a little bit. Now our goal is to retire James. We should have James retire within the next couple of months. So we're just going to be doing this full time ourselves. So that's a different goal. We used to think retirement was about an age, but it's not. It's about what income you can bring in to replace your W-2 income. And so that's one of the things that's changed a lot. And we don't worry about retirement. We don't worry about our kids our kids' money or leaving our kids or taking care of anything. It's just different. Our whole lives have changed. Money, we think about it differently. And we have a new network of friends that think the same way that we do.
It's interesting how we change as real estate investors. I like everything that you shared there. What would you say your keys to success have been?
I think following the Lifestyles model. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Just do exactly what they tell you to do. If you do it like they tell you to do it, it's going to be successful.
Sometimes that's the hardest thing, huh, James, is just following it?
No, I've been out there without a roadmap, and it's kind of hard when you don't have a roadmap. But if you could follow the roadmap, it works. There's a lot of people in front of us that's done this and done well, and we're just trying to follow the same path and do well ourselves.
I think it's that prior experience that you had with the houses that makes you such a great investor today, because you did do it wrong, and now you do follow the map.
Now, from the files of Del Walmsley.
I do want to make this point to everybody out there. All right. This poor lady signed up for one of these stupid stock trading courses. Do you understand that trading stocks on a daily basis like this is really nothing but gambling? You might as well sign up for how to cut cards or how to play cards, because it's just insane. You're going to lose. The odds are against you. It isn't going to work. And you know what? I want to add this to it. And so is every other real estate course out there that has to do with flipping and wholesaling and working your butt off and busting your butt and taking advantage of people and selling stuff too high and buying it too low and ripping people off. Guys, we're not doing any of that. We're buying assets that make us passive streams of income.
I want you listeners out there to understand, do something today your future self will thank you for. And it's not the money, it's the lifestyle. My name is Mike Harrison. Make it a great day. We'll see you next week. James and Kimberly, thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
The Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show is for entertainment purposes only. Please consult a professional regarding your personal investment needs. Nothing presented on the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show constitutes an endorsement, recommendation, offer, or solicitation to buy or sell any product or security.